called greed, Lucy. Greed.
You can call it greed.
Yeah.
You can you can rub it the way you whatever it is that you call. I sold land to put money into forex because I was so desirous of paying people's money. But what did I do? I messed it up. I lost again and again and again and again.
So in a nutshell, you don't learn.
It is not because. What do you mean? Why would I be here if I don't learn?
Did you listen to the Hot Breakfast this morning? Here's what you missed.
Day in, day out, all day long. About Kenyans wanting to make a quick buck. Get rich quick. I'm sure a lot of people out there want to do that. And of course, your folks probably tell you there are no shortcuts in life.
But what you do, you ignore your folks.
And you want to get rich quick. Our guest today learned the hard way. But you know what? The best part about Lucy Githaiga is that, and she says it herself in her book that she just released last week. She says, I stumbled, I fell, I stood and kept walking. You too have to keep walking no matter what. And she had reached rock bottom. She lost millions and millions of shillings, almost ended up in prison. But you know what? She bounced back, and now she's what you call a bounce back coach. She helps women make that professional women. Lucy Githaiga joins us live here in the studios. Lucy, karibu sana, welcome.
Asante sana, Jeff.
My goodness, this was only 3 years ago, and you know that's you can say that's pretty recent.
Back in 2016, and I wanted to also explore and see what I can do. And one thing led to another, and I found myself in gold mining. Right. And before I got into gold mining, I was in some gemstone, selling and buying and selling of gemstones. And as a part of developing that business, I thought, well, why would I not get into jewelry and all that? And so I got into gold mining. And when I got into gold mining, it wasn't the best of the businesses because I ended up putting in a lot of money in the mining business, and it wasn't working. Of course, I didn't have experience, and most people get into business without any form of experience because we want to sort of grow and become and be ambitious. And sometimes it's not about getting rich quickly. It's about growth. It's about ambition. But then the paths are different. So after coming out of Kakamega, this is when now I got into. I was in the space where I knew for a while when I hit 40. I am 48. When I hit 40, I was at that place where I was saying, what am I here to do? And all people, when they get to their 40, and Jeff, I know you have asked those questions yourself. When you get into 40, you're asking yourself, what can I do? So I knew I needed to get into the world of women. And as I was going to Kakamega, I used to read a lot. And I discovered a lot of things that I thought many people don't know. So I was trying to sort of get into the place of supporting women, to understand, to appreciate. And so when I got out of Kakamega, I said, you know what? Let me work within my passion area. Let me work within what I know and what I know I'm gifted at. And in the process of doing that, of course, I didn't know how to do social media and I didn't know what to do. So I got into, I was the chair of the Women in Extractives in Kenya at that time. So the person who had supported us to do a website and all that, I said, can you help me, do this? And said, yeah. And then I said, can you link me with someone who can help me with my social media pages? And I was linked, and off I went to I was introduced to someone who, after we discussed what to do with my social media pages for the work that I wanted to do, she said, there's something else that we do here. And boom, I was introduced into something called Quantum. It was a quantum fund, and you would invest, and after you have invested, you would then, I think, get, is it 37% after 30 days or something like that. It sounded very nice. The one thing that I didn't do due diligence, like most people don't. Yes, I didn't do due diligence. So that was one of the lessons that I learned. So I put in money, and in the process of, I wanted to actually even ask. I actually put in money that I had saved, and the allure of 37% in these short days, I can put in more, right? And so when I wanted to put in more, I said, how can I find out who else is in this business so that then I can, I can get, I can put in more. I actually went to the bank and borrowed money to put more.
But what exactly is quantum?
Because most of these schemes are kind of the same. Maybe
Yeah.
you can just give us a brief history of
What exactly?
what you
doing?
invest in,
No.
the allure that someone is chonjo about it.
No, you see, the thing is, you go and you're told, we will invest your money in. They don't even say exactly what, but they say in global markets, in offshore trading. They put it in some language that you're not familiar with, and so you don't even know what to ask for the most part. So I was told, we do offshore trading. What is offshore trading? Oh yeah, we do. I don't know when the dollar is up, and I don't know when the what is up, when the GP, the pound is up, and so it's that whole world of forex. And I'm not saying that the world of forex is bad. No, it's just I'm saying how I got into this thing was that when I invested my money and I wanted to then find out what can happen, I was introduced to something called bullions, and I was told there is a bullion vault in Singapore, and there's a bullion vault in New York, and there's a bullion vault in London, where you just press your button and you sell gold. As a matter of fact, the person told me you don't need to go and mine gold in Kakamega. You can actually just work with gold.
Yeah, but Lucy, wait.
Yes.
Didn't that sound too good to be true?
No,
I
but
think there's a bullion in Singapore. There's a bullion in
No,
New
that's
York.
true, Jeff. That's not a lie.
Yeah, come on, but when they tell you press a button and you make money, why aren't they making the money? Didn't you ask yourself?
No, let me tell you, Jeff. I actually Googled, and it's true. There is a bullion. There's a bullion vault in Singapore, in London, in New York. Therefore, bullion vaults, where you buy your gold online, you wait for it, you wait for the price to go up, you sell or you buy, depending. That's there. That's not in
The Chinese have a saying, if you believe everything you read, you should stop reading.
I know, but I'm telling you, this is the experience of most Kenyans, Jeff.
Yeah.
It is
They
the
have
experience
no
of most
clue.
Kenyans. Yes, you have no clue.
So you were sold into this?
Yes, I was sold into it, and I actually went ahead and did the
Invested.
bullions.
Yeah.
And then what then happened thereafter? I was told, you know what? It's not even the bullions that have money. In fact, the bullions is not what has the money. What has the money is spot gold. Baby, spot gold is what has the money.
Now what is
So
that?
now spot gold is when the dollar is up and I don't know the gold is down and I don't know the dollar is down and the gold is up. It all sounded very
There's
very
like a
interesting.
margin there for making millions.
Yeah, exactly. And so it got very interesting. I sort of said, yeah, well, whereas I'm investing in quantum, I actually then became a director myself in this business that we were making. So I ended up investing my own money, but also getting people to invest their own money, which totaled about 11 million for people who came in. And the tragedy of that story, but I also say that it is not sitting in the story that is important, it's standing on the story. What happened is that I realized, I think about 4 months into the business, that we were in a con game. I was part of a con game that I didn't know. I have chronicled everything in my book in terms of everything that happened.
Okay, but what made you realize, Lucy? What was the
What-
point when
what-
you woke up and said, "Oh my goodness, I've lost 15 million shillings"?
Let me tell you what happened. We had been told by whoever our co-director was called George. Our co-director had told us that for you to interest others, you need to show that you're benefiting and that your money is growing. I'll tell you what, Jeff. I freezed and I closed my Sacco account so that I can get money to put in the money in this so-called trading account. I put in money in the trading account, and this gentleman had made it in such a way that you would actually every morning you would log in and see money, your money growing. So it was growing in leaps and bounds, from what I could see, right?
He had an app and everything.
So now,
George is a smart man.
Very
so now money was growing.
Yeah.
Yani inakuwa tu unaangalia hivi unasema bas,
Yeah.
mimi niko kwa mapesa.
Nimefika.
All right. So every morning I would log in and see. Then one morning on the 7th of April 2018, I log in and I'm told error. I'm like, error? What error? So I go, I call the guy, by the way, I am logging and I'm told there's an error. And he tells me, wait, I think the broker is going through a bit of, system issues. We're just sorting them out, and you will be able to get onto your account again. So I didn't, nothing was alarming at that point.
There was no red flag.
There was no red flag because in any case, I mean, systems are normally, revamped, and, you get a new password. 2 weeks later, there was no new password. And not only there was no new password, the account that was for the investors, I also lost the possibility to view it.
Where was George?
He was busy. He wasn't taking the calls now.
And is your office, like, you used to come to the office?
There was no office. It was a virtual office, but there was there was an office. I mean, there was an office. There was some place in Mombasa where he would say, when you trade, you've got to be looking over the ocean. So there was something in Mombasa that he called an office. But anyway, that's not the story. Jeff, remember.
Hold on. What you're talking about with this quantum and all, it's like a pyramid scheme, right? When you are encouraging other people, you bring them on board, they invest, they grow. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme.
You see,
it's or multi-level marketing.
I wouldn't even call it multi-level or whatever it was. I mean, the business looked and sounded genuine. Really, it did.
But they always say if it sounds too good to be true.
Yes, that's true, Jeff. It sounds to be good to be true. But how many Kenyans get into that whole process? I was one of them. That's what I am saying. But the truth is, remember, Jeff, it is not sitting in the story that is important. It's standing on the story. It is after you have come out of all this and learnt your lessons that is important.
We need to know how you got in the hole.
Yes, so that's okay.
So
getting into
the juice
No, the juice is in getting out of the story. That's because many Kenyans are in the hole. You've got to get them out of that hole. Right. So the story is not sitting in the hole. The story is getting out of that hole and standing on the story.
But you've been conned. George has disappeared.
I need George's number so that I can sit with him and hear his
No, so what happened after we, by the time, remember, some 11 million was invested by this, collectively by investors. So by the time I was looking at this so-called trading account, it had about 25 million. So clearly the money had doubled in 3 months, from the system as you could see it. But the one thing that, baffles me up to this day, because I also get baffled at what was happening at that time, is the fact that I didn't have the possibility of, withdrawing this money. And in the whole process, that never clicked in my head, because had that clicked in my head, I would have seen there's a trap here, right? It was all about, let's get the money, let's get it into the trading account, but the way of getting it back, that was a mystery. And the minute I began to question, then is where, calls, people, the guy refused to be taking calls and all that. But anyway, after we realized that this thing was now, investors were, the money was at risk, I did the honorable thing. I wrote to the investors and told them, by the way, we are in shit now. We are in a hole. We are in a hole now. We're in a hole, and your money is at risk, but we have reported the matter to the DCI, right? And I went to the DCI and I reported the matter, and the DCI did their investigations, and I can tell you, we traced every coin of all the money that had been invested to George's account. And I thought, the authorities were going to do something. And so I danced. I had a dance in the hole. I call it the dance in the hole, and sitting in the story for a couple of months, for about 7 months. Just sitting in the story, lamenting, feeling angry, feeling shocked, feeling fearful. And at that point is when I say, in my book, I say, I thought I was going to prison at that time, because, it was so hard on me. It was, first I was branded a thief. Never mind that I did not even take a bottle of Coca-Cola from that money. I was the chair of the Catholic Women Association in my church, in my parish at that time. I had a challenge of even the church community. Here you are. People have lost their money. They are all coming to you. You are a director in that company. You have no clue of how this money got lost. But you are a director, you have to take responsibility.
But these were not church funds, huh?
No, of course not. They were not church funds, Jeff. No, certainly not. They were not church funds. Okay. It was my own money, and the money that was invested by others collectively.
Was George arrested?
He was arrested, right? He was arrested, and when he was arrested, It was a very dramatic arrest actually, because we tipped the CID of where he would be. They took him to the DCI. He was questioned, and then he made a promise and said he is going to make a payment plan for everybody. And he indeed sent an email to all the investors giving them a payment plan, which he never ordered. He did not honor. In fact, he even gave us a letter of his commitment that he was going to pay the money. He did not pay. I think he only paid about 4 people, whatever he said was their first installment. Of course, all these investors were demanding their money. I mean, they wanted their money back. I was a director, so really, and I am the one who told them come into this business. So they thought I had colluded with this gentleman. So it was a very difficult moment for me.
Tell us, how did you get out of the hole then? People are asking here.
How did I get out of the hole?
Yeah. And
now remember,
not go to prison.
Yes. And one of the ways that I did was to really just acknowledge that the greatest gift is my own well-being. And that's not just me, it's for everybody. The greatest gift is your own well-being. When you step into the world, when you come into the world, when you're well, when you're at peace with your own well-being, then everything works well for you. So I had to first seek my own well-being, my own healing. And one of the things I did, Jeff, was to seek forgiveness. As in, I had to actually just forgive George. When you forgive the seemingly unforgivable, then the other thing that I did was to face the investors and inform them. First of all, acknowledge that they had a lot of trust on me, because it is out of that trust that they, got into the business. Thank them for that trust, but also be able to take responsibility as a director and say, you know what? Yes, money was stolen. I did not steal. I did not take even a bottle of Coca-Cola. But I am a woman of integrity. And because I am a woman of integrity, I want to make a promise to the investors that at some point X, when I do not know when, and when I do not, and how I do not know how, I made a promise that I was going to pay. And that sort of made the release for me, because it was important for me to release and to begin to build myself and to begin to sort of gather myself together, because it was, the burden of everything that was happening was too much for me. And I can tell you, Jeff, a lot of people, had I not had the unbeatable spirit within me, like I write in my book, a lot of people, that is where they just go down and down and down, and they experience challenges of mental health, and they go down and down, never to recover again. Depending on the strength of the person. So I went through several steps, and those are some of the steps that I do. I support women in my financial bounce back coaching, so the first step was really appreciating what my well-being is about.
Have you started paying back as you promised?
I have not started paying back, but the intention to start, I am building myself. I had sunk in debt, as a result of all this.
Yeah, but you had time to write a book, but you haven't started paying your people your promised debt. But you have time to release a book. Yes, I have time to release a book. How much does it cost to release a book, Jeff? Hey, it doesn't cost much. Money. No. This is a self-written book. It's self-published. Yes, it's self-published. Of course, it's with the support of the Writers Guild publishers. So writing a book is, you wake up at 3 a.m. and write a book. You wake up, you sleep at 2 a.m. to write a book. That is not. It took me 7 years to write one, but that's. Oh, I wrote this in 1 year, Jeff. I wrote this in 1 year. It depends on your inspiration. Okay, when will you start paying your debtors? When? Jeff. They're listening to you right now. Jeff, they are listening to me, and I am committed to paying them. And it's clear for me. And I said, I don't know when, I don't know how. Jeff, if I sell 11,000 of this book, I have gathered 11 million, and that's it. I would pay. So I am still also getting out of the hole myself, because I was also in the hole. And when I bounce, as I continue, and I have bounced back. I would say I have bounced back, because I am not where I was at that time. I started trading Forex. I sold land to put money into Forex, because I was so desirous of paying people's money. But what did I do? I messed it up. I lost again and again and again and again. So in a nutshell, you don't learn. It is not because, what do you mean? Why would I be here if I don't learn? Why would I have written a book? I'm trying to find out. This Forex, was it based on, because Forex,
And I've never done it, so I just want to find out. When they say get into forex, because there's some guys who lost money in I think Limuru 2.3 billion. Other people, online people, have all these things
every
happening.
day. There's stories.
And if forex is so profitable, and the Kenya government also likes to deal in forex, how comes the government itself is not making so much profit from it? Am I making sense?
You see, Nick. There, I mean, traders. There are different forms of traders. There, and it's not like forex is not a genuine business. It's a genuine business. I mean, you have said banks do forex trading, government and others, they do forex trading. There are investment banks that do forex trading. It's all about what is the strategy and what is your risk appetite. As a matter of fact, I acknowledge that one of the things that I learned, and one of the things that I wasn't clear is because then I was looking to make this money quickly and pay off and get off, I didn't put in proper risk management strategies in my trading. I wouldn't put something called stop loss because I would think it will come for me. It will, you know, so that was my error. It is not because forex doesn't. There are people who earn money from forex, so I'm not here to sort of, you know, rubbish forex trading. No, it is me and my own trading strategy that was wrong. I wasn't doing proper risk management. I wanted to make this money quickly and pay off and get off this hole that I was in.
It's called greed, Lucy. Greed.
You can call it greed. Yeah. You can rub it the way you, whatever it is that you call. For me, it was a desire. It wasn't greed, Jeff. Greed. No, I refuse to say that it was greed. It wasn't greed. It was a desire
to get rich.
No,
quickly.
No. In this second phase, the desire to make this money and pay off the investors. That's not greed.
It's greed.
No. Jeff, I refuse to be told that that's greed.
Okay.
That one I don't take. For me, it was about making this money and paying off the. It was integrity.
The one piece of advice you would give to young ladies out there and young men who, by the way, they want to get rich today. They're getting into all kinds of deals, but it's putting them into all kinds of debt. What do you tell them?
For me, one of the things that was such a critical lesson for me was the lesson of doing due diligence. Do your due diligence. It's so important to do your due diligence because had I taken time to do due diligence, then of course I wouldn't have gotten into that space. So due diligence is very, very important. And you know, educate yourself. Don't just believe what you're told. Educate yourself. Ask questions. Ask all manner of questions. Take time, because when people want to scam you, they want to make it quick. Make this decision quickly because the money is coming quickly. So you really must also be patient in terms of doing, you know, learning, educating yourself, exposing yourself, doing your due diligence. Know who you're partnering with.
All right. The book is called The Unbeatable Spirit. Lucy Githaiga is the author. And she has learned a lot, and she wants to give back and teach other women, especially young women, people out there who are trying to get rich quick. That's not going to happen.
And even if you get into that trap, you said a bounce back coach. So just tell the morning what a bounce back
coach.
I am a financial bounce back coach, and as a financial bounce back coach, I am for women, for professional women who have made costly financial mistakes. And let me tell you, Jeff, costly financial mistakes is not just the fact that you have gone and, you know, been scammed or something. It could also be bad decisions that you made with your investments. It could also be that you haven't done anything. So you look back and you're like, ooh, what just happened? I haven't really, you know, stewarded my resources well. That's also a costly financial mistake. So as a financial bounce back coach, first of all, I get you from the place of where you feel the baggage of anger, of fear, of worry, of you know, to help you just leave that baggage first. And it's a process. It's not just me talking to you and I'll meet you where you are with your whatever baggage you have, and we progressively as a coach, you know, take you through a process that allows you to then get back, you know, bounce back and be able to be on the path where you make a plan and we continue, you know, to sort of move around the path of accountability.